The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can stream the show live from the station website at radiolex.us to listen to us from anywhere in the entire world. Today is September the 11th, 2025. And folks, we have to start off the show today with the assassination of political activist Charlie Kirk. It come to a complete shock to me when I saw the news, when I heard that he had been shot. Anytime you hear something like that, it still shocks me. I don't know if it shocks you, but it still shocks me. And I was devastated to hear of ultimately that he passed away. And it was a horrific event because the internet is the way it is today. Unfortunately, the video of his death is for everyone to see. Everyone could publicly right now go online and watch the demise of this man's life. And he was shot dead at Utah Valley University, which many of you guys might not have picked up on this. That is where Coach Mark Pope came from before he came to Kentucky. He was the head coach there at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. But that's where he was, and he kicked off his tour that he had going on this year. And his tour, what Charlie Kirk does, if you don't know who he is a political activist. He is a right-wing conservative, and he has a national radio show, and he got his popularity mainly from social media. He has a big presence on social media. He's got a large following on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. He made himself a millionaire off of the business that he started. He started his business when he was just 18 years old. His company was called Turning Point, and it is now a multi-million-dollar company. At the time of his death, Charlie Kirk was worth $12 million. So a very successful young man, only 31 years old at the time of his death. And he started that company at 18 years old. He went on to get a nationally syndicated radio show, which turned into a very popular podcast. He had a big influence in 2020 when Donald Trump ran for office. He had a big influence in 2016 when Donald Trump won the office for the first time. And when Donald Trump just got reelected, he was a big advocate and a big voice for that party and that political side. He was very vocal, Charlie Kirk was. And he really got popularity when he started going around to college campuses debating liberals. He had this whole shtick where he said, "Prove me wrong," and where he would have people go up to a microphone, ask him a question, or try to prove him wrong in some type of way. It was almost like a persuasion debate, and I'm all about those. I am a persuasive speech teacher in college. I love a good debate. So what he did was very entertaining, but it's also very dangerous what he did because there are a lot of nutcases out there. But he went around to college campuses and he would speak to these campuses, and he started his brand new tour just yesterday. And on his very first stop at Utah Valley University, it was the first stop of like a 12-stop tour. He opened up his event at noon that day, and just 10 minutes later, just 10 minutes into the event, he was shot. Now, this is right before Charlie Kirk was shot. He showed up to the event. This is the moment when he showed up to the event. Everybody was energetic. Everybody was all smiles. Even Charlie sounded excited and very enthusiastic about getting started. Take a listen at when Charlie Kirk first arrived on campus and just took his seat, which ultimately was his seat of death. But this is right before he took his seat. Listen at him greet the audience.
That's a lot of people, Utah. I'll tell you what. started, everybody. You know how it works. Question and answer. Also, thank you to Lane from YRE5. That was great. Really appreciate it. And we're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer. That's what he said. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer. And that was the kind of attitude that he had. That's the kind of approach that he had. Everybody who went to this event knew what they were going to. His whole thing was prove me wrong. So he obviously fought more with the left than he did the right, because most of the right already agreed with him. It was the left that he was wanting to prove him wrong. So he was always going around fighting liberals, fighting people on the left. And at approximately 12:10, Kirk was shot in the neck while speaking at the event. He was answering a question. It maybe was the first question of the event. And a shot was fired 200 yards away. And Kirk was discussing gang violence and about shootings at the time of his shooting, ironically. He was specifically asked, do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? And Kirk responded, he said, counting or not counting gang violence. And then he was shot. So his last words was gang violence. That was the last words spoken out of his mouth. Multiple cell phone videos of the shooting were quickly published on social media. And that is where I was able to find this unfortunate video that I'm going to play for the audience. This is the actual moment that Charlie Kirk was shot dead right on stage. This is the moment when the question was asked by a person in the audience about gang violence. And then Charlie responded with a question back. And before the kid could even respond back to Charlie's question, Charlie was shot in the neck, and then chaos erupted.
All right, great. So do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
And there you go, folks. He was shot right in the neck before you could even, blink. It was that quick. And unfortunately, his wife and 2 children were at the event. They were in attendance of the shooting, and that is just horrible to witness. I can't even imagine. And everyone that was a part of Charlie's life, I can only imagine the pain that they are going through, and not only what they have to deal with now, but always having that image in their head. He was a father, he was a son, he was a brother, he was a friend to a lot of people. He was a human being, folks, regardless of his political views, what side of the fence he was on. At the end of the day, he was all of those things. Not just his identity was not just wrapped up in his job title. Now, at 12:37 local time, the university, they closed the campus, they canceled classes, and they urged all of the students and everyone on campus to leave. And then at 2:01 local time, the university asked students to secure in a safe place if they're still on campus until police can safely escort them off. And then at 1:45 local time, that is when they told the America that he was in critical condition. And then at 2:40 p.m., President Donald Trump confirmed on his Truth social media account that Charlie Kirk had died. And folks, it was just a horrific scene. And there is just no room for something like that to happen. And a lot of people still may not know who he is, and a lot of people may not be aware. People are wondering, what kind of person was he to get shot like that? What kind of things did he say? What kind of things would he go out and spew to rile people up so much? Well, I've got a little video that I will play that kind of sums up in a nutshell kind of the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk would talk about, and kind of just his essence and his attitude and his cadence in these video clips will kind of let you know the type of tempo that his attitude had and the type of tempo that these events had. So these are just little short snippets, but you can tell by the way he would talk to these people, and you could tell by the way he would answer questions that he was a very controversial guy. So you could see where he would ruffle a lot of feathers. Now, that by no means anybody deserves to be shot. Nobody deserves to be killed over having a different opinion. But this video will kind of shed some light on how his conferences and his events would go. Take a listen.
You're a teacher. Yes. What is a woman?
Woman is a social construct that we've agreed upon.
So I want to thank you for proving a great point.
What?
You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Thank you very much.
Are you married?
Yes, with 2 beautiful children.
Wow, good for you.
I could tell you're not married.
Yeah.
You're so scared to debate me.
Actually, I'm not scared.
Then debate me anytime,
Honestly, I'm good. I just debated the governor of this state. I don't need to debate you, Parker, okay?
You keep interrupting me. Every time I try to actually explain my point and have a reasonable conversation with you, you cut me off.
You're an English major.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you another chance.
Okay.
What's your favorite Jane Austen novel?
Harry Potter?
My shirt says Charlie Kirk.
Oh,
Clearly
campus.
you're offended.
Actually, I'm not. I find it hilarious. In fact, I'm so important that you have to make a shirt with my name on it. It's FBI statistics. It's well known.
FBI statistics? Where can you show me that at? 70% of offenders were African American.
I know you're obviously very anti-trans.
No, I'm pro-reality.
And that was just a few little snippets of who Charlie Kirk was and the kind of attitude that he had towards his answers. So you could see he could ruffle feathers. And it's just unfortunate that he ruffled somebody's feathers enough to have him be so infuriated as to shoot and kill him. Now, as of right now, I don't think they have caught the guy who shot Charlie Kirk. There have been multiple people questioned. Even at one point, there was somebody arrested at the event. There was an old man that I seen thrown to the floor and thrown in handcuffs. And the whole time, people were cussing at him saying, "F you, man, I can't believe you did that." And the only thing he was screaming was, "I have the right to remain silent." Well, good thing that he knew his rights, because my man was innocent and he was being accused of a crime he didn't commit. He'll always have a story to tell. And there was some more people questioned, and there is a killer out there still at large. Now, they have zeroed in on somebody that they suspect. There is some video footage that was around campus that they feel like was the shooter that has been circulating. And I don't know if they've caught this guy. I don't know if they're questioning this guy, if they're looking for this guy. But he is still out there as of right now. The shooter, the murderer of Charlie Kirk, has not been caught. And that is scary to think about as well. I hate to hear this for Charlie. One of the questions that a lot of people get asked in his position is, how do you want to be remembered? And Charlie said he wanted to be remembered as somebody who was bold in his faith and had courage in his faith. And he did. He was a devout Christian. He was very vocal about his faith and what it meant to live by that faith. And a lot of his work was reflected by his faith. And there is not a doubt in my mind, if based off of what Charlie Kirk has confessed, what Charlie Kirk has professed, there's no doubt in my mind that he is in heaven today. So Charlie Kirk is fine. He is in eternity in glory. That's my belief. That's my belief. But what has happened that has been left behind for us is not something that we as a country need to be more divided over. Yes, there is a issue in this country with gang violence. There's an issue in this country with idiots. There's an issue in this country with murderers. I don't know how we're going to put our finger on the pulse. I don't know the answers. I'm not in office to make those answers. I know that in situations like this, what I do is I cling to the Lord in situations like this. That's the only thing that I know how to do. And I know that Charlie Kirk shared that same sentiment as I do. And that's why I have no doubt that he is walking the streets of glory today. Very sad day in America, folks. Very sad day in the country. But folks, we do have a great show coming up for you. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Stick with us. We will be right back.
My daddy served in the army where he lost his right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Folks, today marks the 24th anniversary of one of the most horrific days in America, September the 11th, 2001, where 4 American planes were hijacked. 2 crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. 1 plane crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and the other plane, headed for the White House, went down in a field in Pennsylvania. So many Americans killed all at once. America was under attack. America fell to its knees 24 years ago today by just a few radical people. Folks, it doesn't take thousands of people to bring a nation down. The strongest nation in the world was brought down by just a few radicals. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. We've seen so much unity in this country on September 12th. From September 12th and on, I have never seen this country more together. I've never seen this country more united as it was after the attacks of September the 11th. And folks, it was on this day back in 2001 when we were attacked. And we've talked about September 11. We've talked about that a lot on this show. We've talked about how there were phone calls made from people on the planes. We've talked about how there were cockpit audio recordings played. We've even discussed the news broadcasts that have talked about this event. We've talked about this event in so many different ways. And it makes you wonder, what else left is there to say about September 11th, 2001? Well, folks, one thing that I can remember about September the 11th, 2001, was after that event, we had so many great artists go into the studio and make songs specifically about this horrific event. And this was one of them. Toby Keith's Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. This was a song that he sang about the Iraqi soldiers over in Iraq and Afghanistan. He met a lot of soldiers while performing this song on tour. And this song actually was released in 2003, and it shot all the way up into number 1 in the country, folks. And most of the time, country songs are not the types of songs to hit the Hot Billboard 100 at number 1, but that song did. So I started thinking about all of the great songs that were written for September the 11th, 2001. So I have compiled a list here of some of the great music that was made about that horrific day. And music is something that helps us meditate. Music is something that helps us feel better about a situation. And I feel like that these particular songs that I have compiled on this list were songs that helped even more unite the country. And I'll start the list with Toby Keith's Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, the song you just heard. But this is another one, folks. This song is called Have You Forgotten by Daryl Worley. And this song was inspired by 9/11. And it was talking about, I know time has passed since the event, but I haven't forgotten how horrific it was. Have you forgotten? Because I haven't. Listen to the words. It's beautiful.
Before you start your preaching, let me ask you this, my friend. Have you forgotten how it felt that day to see your homeland under fire and her people blown away? Have you forgotten when those towers fell? We had neighbors still inside.
I mean, a song that was so specifically targeted towards September the 11th, 2001. A song that was just very relatable because we all witnessed it. So it was a great song. This is another one. This is Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning by Alan Jackson. This was released just weeks after the attacks, October the 11th, 2001. He debuted it on the CMA Awards show. He sang it live for the first time. Radio stations began to play the live version, and then the studio version was later released just a few weeks later. The song that Alan Jackson made about September 11th, this one right here, spent a month at number 1 on the charts. So, folks, again, that just tells you what the climate in America was like at the time. This song, a country song, regardless of the genre, was the number 1 song in the country. Because there was no other genre, I believe, that captured the emotion as the country as the genre country. Because the country genre just has a way of playing to our emotions and appealing to our feelings. And this was a great relatable song because we all were places when September the 11th happened. We all were at different individual places, but we all remember where we were. So this song is about Alan talking about where were you when the world stopped turning? Where were you when you first heard the news? I know where I was. I was sitting in an 8th grade classroom. Social studies, as a matter of fact. But there were other people that may have been in a doctor's office, may have been in a courtroom, may have been dropping their kids off to school, may have just gotten to work and sat at their desk. Everybody was at a different place when they found out the news. Where were you when the world stopped turning that day?
We're driving down some cold interstate. Did you feel guilty cause you're a survivor? In a crowded room, did you feel...
Now, there were also songs that were written about soldiers in particularly, and there were a lot of songs inspired by 9/11. And one of the main topics about 9/11 was the soldiers that were involved over there in the war. And Toby Keith really hit his peak during the tragedy of America because he was really the one who became the voice of empathy. He became the voice of our emotions. And we started the segment with a Toby Keith song, and this is another Toby Keith song. This song is called American Soldier. And he's just talking about what it's like to be a soldier in this country. Take it, listen.
Providing for our futures, my responsibility. Yeah, I'm real good under pressure, being all that I can be. I can't call in sick on Mondays when the weekend's been too long.
Oh yeah, beautiful song, a beautiful song. And then, of course, John Michael Montgomery got in on the action with his song Letters from Home, talking about soldiers who had to leave their family and go over to Iraq and Afghanistan to fight. And he's talking about in this song about families waiting to receive letters. And it's talking about soldiers waiting to receive letters from home. And it's a beautiful song about corresponding with your family as you're over there fighting in the war. And this song actually went number 1 on the country charts. And it makes sense because it was a great song. Take a listen.
In a letter from home, I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared and our boots ain't muddy, and they all laugh like there's something funny about the way I talk.
Now, there were more songs that were inspired by September the 11th. And this particular song was by Neil Young. This song is called Let's Row. Now, this is an interesting ballad. It's a song that was inspired by the bravery of the passengers of the hijacked United Airlines Flight 93. And there was a passenger on that flight. His name was Todd Beamer, and he uttered the famous words, "Are you guys ready? Let's row." And then that was the words he said right before they attacked the terrorist on the plane. That's when the people on the plane fought back, and they fought the terrorist, and they brought the plane down to crash before it could crash into the White House. So this song is talking about the bravery of the people on that plane. It's called Let's Roll. Take a listen at the words.
We got to get inside there before they kill some more. Time's running out. Let's roll.
Time is running out. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
So I'm telling you, there were all kinds of different themed songs written about this one event that happened on this day just 24 years ago. I mean, there have been movies about Flight 93. There have been documentaries made about that flight. And that's just one situation on September 11th. Folks, there were so many different situations happening at once on this day. You had the Twin Tower attacks. You had the Pentagon attacks. Then you had the Flight 93 attacks. So many attacks happening on one day. All at the same time. A simultaneously attacked country all at once. And then finally, another song that I feel like should make the list. And this is by Paul McCartney. It's called Freedom, and it was inspired after he witnessed the events for himself in New York City. He saw the planes hit the towers, and he began immediately writing this song after he witnessed the events. And he performed it at a concert in New York City, and the song has served as a beacon of resilience. It's an awesome song. I mean, you could not find a shirt with an American flag on it for sale during that time because they were all sold out. I remember it was cool to have an American flag on your shirt in 2001 and in 2002 because that's how united we were. That's how much pride we had for our country. So anytime that we sang about freedom and liberty and all of the benefits that America gave us, we were all about it. And that's why these songs still live on today, and they're still very inspiring. It takes us right back, not really to that horrific day where it makes us depressed, but it almost serves as a beacon of peace, because we know that we didn't go through this alone. There was other people that experienced this with us, and we still are here. We survived it. We're resilient, and life will move on. And I think only music can bring people together like that. And that's why I feel like so many great songs were written about this event. And folks, when a tragic event happens, artists are not too far behind to make a song about it, because music is all about appealing to the emotions, and nobody was feeling nothing at the time other than the emotions they felt on the attacks of September 11th. Because yeah, you might have not have known somebody that has personally died on that day, but you watched your country fall to its knees. And if you love your country at all, that should have affected you in some way. You haven't been seeing many things about this horrific day, partly because of the horrific event that happened to Charlie Kirk just yesterday. But I am sure that would have been the top thing on the ticker today had not that assassination happened. But it is something that we will never forget. It's been 24 years, and I still have never seen anything like it, and I hope I never have to again. But as always, my thoughts and prayers are always with the victims and everyone that was affected by that horrific day. All right, folks, stick with us. We still have lots more Off the Cuff with Adam Banks coming at you live. everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. I also want to welcome everyone listening on WMMT 88.7 in Whitesburg, Kentucky. That is our newest affiliate. And on the show, I have been informing our audience all about the new towns that Off the Cuff now broadcast in, thanks to WMMT. It's a station that covers the Eastern Kentucky area. And not only, folks, does it cover the Eastern Kentucky area, but it bleeds into the state of Virginia. So Off the Cuff is not just in Kentucky. We're also in Southern Virginia, which is amazing. One of our broadcast cities now, thanks to WMMT, is Big Stone Gap, Virginia, on 88.1 FM. Big Stone Gap is a town in Wise County, Virginia. And here's a fun fact for you guys. I was born in Wise County, Virginia. Not in particularly Big Stone Gap. I was born in the city of Wise, but I was born in that county, Wise County, Virginia. It is a place that has about 5,643 people still living there. Some famous people that come from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Rufus Ayers, he's a former Attorney General for Virginia. Lena Cornett, she was crowned Miss America in 1993. John Fox Jr. was a well-known author. Abner Linwood Holton Jr. is a former Virginia governor. Julius Jones and Thomas Jones, both were professional football players. Adrian Turjali is an author who wrote the book and movie Big Stone Gap. And then James Mitchell is a tight end for the Detroit Lions, and he's a tight end for the Detroit Lions football team. James Mitchell. Interesting. I mean, to think about that. And you know, I don't understand really at all sometimes how this works, how I'm broadcasted all the way in Big Stone Gap, Virginia on a different dial than 88.7, but apparently it will still pick up on 88.7. But on 88.1, it's apparently a stronger signal if you're in Big Stone Gap. So either dial will work, but you can listen to us on WMMT on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Not only are we in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, but thanks to 88.7, we are in Hansonville, Virginia as well. Hansonville is a small, quiet Russell County, Virginia city. And it is a peaceful place, and they are a place that's just a rural community, and it is also located in Wise, Virginia. So 2 awesome places that have been added to our listening audience. I love that. I love that. And folks, this seems like a great place to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. And folks, since it is September 11th and we have been talking about patriotic songs, how about a little Travelin' Soldiers by the Dixie Chicks? Enjoy the song and we'll be back. All right, just one more city to go over with you guys. I've talked about all of the different cities that we are now broadcasting in thanks to 88.7 FM in Whitesburg, Kentucky. And I've talked about Whitesburg, I've talked about Prestonsburg, Pikeville, Hazard. I've talked about Paintsville, Harlan. I've talked about Big Stone Gap, Virginia, Hansonville, Virginia. And now finally, and the final city that we broadcast in, thanks to 88.7, is Coeburn, Virginia. Coeburn is also a small town in the Wise County area, and it is home to the Guest River. It's got about 2,139 people living there. Coeburn was first called Guest Staten, and the town officially became a town in 1894, and it changed its name from Guest Staten to Coeburn. In 2000, there were 1,996 people living in Coeburn. Here are some famous people from Coeburn, Virginia. Holly Kaiser, she was the first winner of the TV show Make Me a Supermodel. Jesse McReynolds, was a well-known bluegrass musician. Danny McQuinn Jr. Was a professional stock racer. Tracy Stallard is a professional baseball player, and Ralph Stanley was another famous bluegrass musician, some call the father of bluegrass. If you're ever in Coeburn, Virginia, some fun things you can do, obviously, is camp, because they've got the Bart Camp Lake. They've got the Jefferson National Forest. You could go boating and fishing out there. You can do all kinds of trail rides and ATV trails. There's the Mountain View Trail System that allows you to do that. So Coeburn, Virginia is an outdoorsy place, and hopefully you have your radios on outside if you are listening at 9 p.m. I know it's a little late on Tuesday night, but hey, there might be some night riders out there. There are people that camp. Camping lasts all day, so if you are just so happen to be camping in Coeburn, Virginia, turn on your radios. Turn on your radios at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. Off the Cuff will be on the air there. All right, folks, that pretty much covers all of our newest broadcast cities, thanks to our newest radio affiliate. We have two now, WLXU 93.9 and WMMT 88.7, and I am working on another one. And I hopefully will seal the deal on that one soon, and I will announce what new affiliate we have picked up. But big things are hopefully still in the chamber for Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. But folks, we still have one more segment to go. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. One person on the show thread says that they apparently showed X-rated movies outside back in the day in Coeburn, Virginia. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I wonder what those people did while the movie was going on. But anyway, today's national holiday, folks, is National School Picture Day. This is around the time that school pictures are taken. Schools are officially in session, so the photographer will soon be coming to your school to take your picture. But today is the day we celebrate it. Picture Day at school was always a thing. It was always a stressful time because you're immortalized forever on Picture Day. What you look like in your picture on Picture Day is how people will remember you for the rest of time. That's what they will point to when they show who they went to high school with. If you ever make it famous and they show your yearbook photo, it's going to be the picture you took on Picture Day. Very stressful day. Now, school pictures are a great thing because without school pictures, a lot of parents wouldn't have pictures of their kids. A lot of parents don't think to take their kids to get their pictures made nowadays because back in the day, there were so many companies like Olin Mills who always would go around and set up different photo booths in Kroger and Walmart, JCPenney's, and you could just stop by and let your kid get their picture taken. And a lot of parents like to do that because they want to immortalize what their child looked like at a certain age. They want to remember that. They want to capture it. But a lot of parents, life gets busy, they just forget and they don't, and they look up and their kid's grown. And you can't go back and capture what they used to look like. But thanks to School Picture Day, it takes away and alleviates a lot of that stress to do it yourself. It does it for you. Because of yearbooks, School Picture Day has become stressful because that is where everybody sees your school picture. Before yearbooks, your school picture was only seen by you. But no, your school picture goes in your yearbook. The first formal yearbook launched in 1806 for the graduate class at Yale College. LifeTouch was the first official company to begin taking school pictures for children annually in the U.S. and Canada. As a matter of fact, I believe LifeTouch is the one who took all of my pictures when I was in school. It says here that on September the 12th, 2019, the very first National School Picture Day was launched. It says that all kinds of places, not just schools, have yearbooks. For instance, the Navy has a yearbook. They produce a yearbook-style publication every year. They say here that high school yearbooks are considered a form of journalism by scholastic journalism bodies. Many yearbooks gain revenue by including a section of ads from local businesses, and the Navy's Recruit Training Center in Great Lakes, Illinois, produces the Keel for Graduates. So, why do we love National School Picture Day? Well, it's great for families, like I said. It preserves our memories, and it's just a fun day to get dressed up. It's an excuse to get dressed up. And I love going back and looking at some of my school pictures. I have the same smile in all of them from like kindergarten to second grade, where I didn't show my teeth. I would just smile with my lips. I think every 5 or 6 year old doesn't start smiling with their teeth until they're like 7. Or at least that was me. And then my teeth were so bad by the time I got to second grade, folks. I'm telling you, my teeth have been the same size that they are right now ever since I was in the second grade. So I was smiling so big in my second grade class photo with my big old teeth. And it's just so fun to look back and just look at the progression. And you really don't realize how much you age until you go back and look at photos. Even looking at photos 5 years ago, it's a significant difference. And it cracks me up when somebody submits a photo of themselves that's 5 years old, like that's what you still look like. It's not. You may think you still look like that, but you don't. You've got 5 years worth of more wrinkles and stress on your body. You can't really tell the significant difference because you look at yourself every day. But your photo, when you compare a 5-year photo unfiltered, you will tell a difference. That's why you should always send recent photos of yourself, at least within the year. I would say, at least within the year. But happy National School Picture Day to all of you kiddos out there. But folks, that pretty much wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. If you liked what you heard today, you'll probably like all of our previous episodes. We archive them all on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. We release new episodes every Thursday right here on WLXU 93.9 FM, which means we will be back same time, same place. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me on social media at The Adam Banks. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the King of Radio, and this is Off the Cuff. I will catch you down the road.